Okay, first of all, happy International Women's Day. I hope you're aware it was supposed to be on the 6th of March, but it took the women 2 days to get ready. So there was also supposed to be International Man's Day, but they forgot the date. Okay, let's get serious. If I give you €1 and you give me €1, we each have €1. But if I give you one idea and you give me one idea, we each have 2 ideas. There are 500 million people in the European Union. That includes our friends also from the Western Balkans. If each person was given the opportunity to turn one idea into an action, how many jobs could we create? How quickly could we address climate change? How sustainable could we make our societies? We have stopped valuing human capital. And as women, as young people, as old people, we have stopped being valued. There are 7 billion people on this planet. Imagine if each one of those was given the opportunity to turn just one idea into an action. We could alleviate poverty. We could make sure that everybody has access to water. We could make sure that everybody could eat. We could make sure that we have and maintain the one planet for eternity. That's what I want to talk to you about. But first, it's a workshop. So in your head, I want you to say to yourself, what is your ability to make change in the world? Just think, out of 10, give yourself a figure of your ability to make change. Since the crisis, the greatest number of companies, small companies, that have been started have been by women, have been owned by women and started by women. The majority of those were also migrant women. The greatest number of jobs created since the crisis have been by women-owned companies. Women are now in every single sector of the economy. It's not about education, it's not about health anymore, it's not about the little salon down the road or some knitting or card making. It's about warehousing, transport, infrastructure. Women are leading. Give you an example of transport. The return on investment for women is 21%, 16% for men. Where you have a woman, more women on the board, or an increasing number of women on the board, the return on investment for the company is higher. The productivity is higher. The corporate social responsibility of the company is higher. The share price of the company increases. These are all US statistics that I'm giving you. I can't give you the European statistics because we don't collect them. Because if we did, you would see the discrimination that women face. The fact that women pay more for a bank loan and yet are refused more times than their male counterparts. Unless we ask for real statistics, comparable statistics. Let me give you an example. You are a female-owned company if you own 51% of your company in the UK. If you're a Serbian company and you own 1% of the company, you are female-owned. Now you may say it doesn't matter how much percentage a woman owns of a company. But if it's female-owned, it must be more than 51%. Give you an example of a company that I know. The man saw that there was all this funding that was available for women, for women in business. So he went to his wife and he said to his wife, hey, listen, I'm going to put you on the board. I'm going to give you 51% of the company. But that means that we can attract the funding. So she says, yeah, great. He made her a board director, gave her 51%, and she started to go into work. And he said, no, you don't need to come into work. You just sit at home and do your things at home. But she said, no, I'm going to get involved. And she got more and more involved. And she found out that he was having an affair with the secretary. She divorced him. Guess what happened? She owned 51% of the company. We have to make sure that if it's a woman-owned company, she has the majority share, because she is the one who is driving the change. She is the one who is contributing to the economy. $3 trillion is turned over by female-owned companies in the US. They even have a special bill called the 1988 Women Business Owners Bill. It doubled the number of female entrepreneurs in America as soon as they started to collect the statistics. I've asked Commissioner Tajani, the previous commissioner, I'm now lobbying the European Parliament for us to have the same bill so that we can measure where the money is going. But I'm told, no more policies, Maddie. There's no need for any special policies for women. I'm sorry, girls, women, ladies, but unless we start to take, it's not going to be given to us. Why do I care? I don't really care. It don't make any difference to me, does it? Look, I'm already old, 52, grandmother. Don't make any difference to me whether you lot get it any easier than I got it or not. But I know that entrepreneurship made a huge difference to my life. And that's why I'm fighting for everybody else. Because I'm not going to give up. Because I've got 2 daughters and I may well have a granddaughter in the future. I've got a grandson now. It's the way we can make a change if we passionately believe that we can make that change. And this is exactly what the girls were talking about before. We are leaders individually, but we are also leaders together. Let me tell you how much of a difference entrepreneurship has made for me. At the age of 16, my dad said that business was no place for a woman. All Indians are going to be doctors, dentists or pharmacists. So I got packed off to university to do pharmacy. It took me 3 months and I dropped out. For those of you who are mothers, please never make your kids do something that they don't want to do. At the age of 19, I had an arranged marriage. I arranged it because my parents didn't agree with my choice of the boy. An Englishman, 12 years older than me, already divorced once before. But you know, we know better. Age of 23, I was told I was over-enthusiastic for my job. How can anybody be over-enthusiastic for a job? And wait, it was a banking job. So I took my enthusiasm and I now have 2 beautiful daughters. At the age of 28, I was told I would never succeed in anything that I wanted to do because I was a woman. That is by my now ex-husband. Yes! And the reason he's my ex-husband is because he put me on the floor and he kicked me. And he repeatedly kicked me. And for 2 days, I couldn't move off the floor. I'm lying there, sorry, stop this. At the age of 29, the whole of my life, people have told me I wouldn't succeed. I had no value. I had nothing to offer anybody. So I had a choice. Either you're going to lie there and be a victim for the rest of your life, or you're going to be a change maker. And so when I could, picked myself up and picked my 2 kids up and I walked out. Now, ask yourself what you would do. I have absolutely no qualifications. I have no skills. I have no training. I have no formal competences. I was in poverty, absolute poverty. I had 50 pence in my purse for 2 weeks and 2 kids to feed. I'm Asian. I'm female. As a survivor of domestic violence, believe me, at that time I had absolutely no confidence whatsoever. I became what is known as a necessity entrepreneur. I was basically forced into entrepreneurship because who was going to look after my kids if I'd got a job? Couldn't work it, couldn't make it happen. So I started making samosas in my kitchen at home. Samosas are the triangle snack foods, Indian food. I made 4 because that's all the money that I'd got. I went out, I sold those 4. I came back in, I made 8. I went back out, I sold those 8, I came back in with the profit, and I made 16 and 32 and 64 and so on until 8 years later we were producing 10,000 products a week. We went from supplying local delicatessens to supplying supermarkets and airlines. We went from just me to 35 staff, every single one of them long-term unemployed. Why? Because like me, society has written them off. But they were the ones who ran my factory. They were the ones who gave me the growth. Without them, I would not have been Asian Woman of Achievement or the UK's best boss. We also went from my home to 2 factories, both in regeneration areas, and that also makes a difference to the communities. So please believe me when I say that profit is not a dirty word, and you should be proud to make profit, because when you make profit you have choices. It's what you do with that profit that is important. I hate it when people say you shouldn't be making profit, and I hate it even more when women say we shouldn't be making profit. Because I'm sorry, if you don't make profit, you are not sustainable, which means you are charity. Let's face facts. The girl said it earlier. You should be doing business together. You should be making profit, because then we can all help more and more people. That's what I do with my profit. But before I got to that stage, I have to put my hand up here, I failed. I'm proud to tell you that I failed, because most people will not tell you that they failed. I lost everything. In fact, I was actually in more debt than I was before I started. But what do? You pick yourself up, you dust yourself down, and you start all over again. And you learn. Failure is a learning curve. It's the chance to have another go intelligently. So what am I doing today? Today I'm running the Madi group, M-A-D-I, Make a Difference Ideas. Everything that I do has to make a difference. If I don't change one person's life in this room today, then my life on earth was wasted. That's how I get through my days, by changing one person's life every day. And it can be as simple as saying thank you to somebody who cleans the toilet. Just try it. I love to go to a clean toilet. I would never ever want to have to do that job. And I am so grateful for the people who do it. And so I always say thank you. But most people don't even think to say thank you. The Madi Group we have 8 international companies and organisations across the world. And yet, I'm standing here talking to you. Who's running them? My brilliant team. Cannot do it without the brilliant team. And guess what? We don't employ on CVs. I haven't checked the CV of one of my staff ever. I have no idea what it says. I just want to know that they want to work with me, and I want to work with them. That they can offer me something, that they have greater intelligence than me, that they have greater knowledge in certain areas than me. My staff, they have to legally have contracts because we're in Europe. have a contract, and on the top of the contract it says you have this because I legally have to give it you. However, Madi Group does not have holidays. We do not have clocking in and clocking out. You want a day off, you take your day off. You want a holiday, you go on holiday. They have no idea how many holidays they've had. They have no idea how many hours they work. But they're all empowered. Every single one of them. They've even started their own companies. Those companies have gone under the Madi Group, which is why there's 8 of them. It's teamwork. It's not about protecting your ideas. It's not about protecting you anymore. It's about building a sustainable economy. And that's why I love entrepreneurship. If I can do it, you can do it. There's no excuses. This is a workshop. So now it's your turn to do the work. So, remember I asked you, what's your ability to make change in the world? Well, now you know what mine is. And I have no qualifications, so therefore you must be able to do a lot more than me. I want you to take the pieces of paper in front of you. Just turn them over and have a blank piece of paper. Okay, it takes you you get 30 seconds to do this. I want you to write on the top of the piece of paper what it is that you really, really want to do. Here's the thing. You don't need any money to do it. You don't need any qualifications to do it. And you don't need anybody to tell you that you can do it. If I was the genie in the bottle, and I popped out now in front of you and gave you one wish, what would it be that you want? 30 seconds, go. I got some of you sitting there going, oh my God, I don't know what to do. A lot of people, 95% of people cannot do this exercise. So if you're one of them, don't worry about it. The other great one is it Nina? Nira. The other great one is Nira. Nira will tell you she has 100 things on the top of her piece of paper. But you can't, because the genie will only give you one thing. Because the universe can only give you one thing. And why? Because it's not possible to focus on multiple things, and we need to focus. So you can only ever write one thing. And for those of you who have written or would like to write, I would like to be happy. Please be aware. That's the easiest thing for the genie to do. Because you're already happy. Because I could plant you in Syria, in the middle of Syria at the minute. Then you would understand how happy you are and how rich you already are. And those of you who are asking for somebody else, well, you can't ask for somebody else. So some people often say, I would really like my mother or father or something to be healthy. You can't ask for that. This is for you. I fly every 2 days. I'm on an aeroplane. People ask where I live. I live on a British Airways plane. And you get the safety warning. The oxygen mask will fall from the panel above your head. Please put your own oxygen mask on before helping somebody else. If you can't breathe, you can't help somebody else. So please, this is about thinking about you first, and it's not selfish. For those of you who say it's selfish, it's not selfish. Because all the people around you will not be happy if you are not happy. It's very difficult for me to say, but I have to be honest. My career, my companies came before my kids. Because I knew if I didn't make the money from the companies, if I wasn't happy, then the kids wouldn't be happy, and the kids wouldn't get the treats that they wanted. And if you look at my 2 kids today, they are extremely proud of their mum. And we did it all on our own. And I know it's because I put my oxygen mask on. So please understand that you need to put yourself first, because women don't. But if you don't, you will regret it for the rest of your life. And most importantly, you are reflecting that on your kids and on your partners. So be careful. Right, so you're going to put something. You're going to think carefully about what you're going to put. And I'll give you an example. Because underneath your top goal, I'll tell you what mine is right at the end, but underneath your top goal, you can put 3 things, a short-term, a medium-term, and a long-term goal. My short-term goal was I wanted an OBE. It's an award from the Queen for services to the community. Then I found out you could buy them by joining a political party, so I no longer want it. So I put that I wanted to write a book. I've already started the book, actually. I've just finished the first draft, but it actually started. You actually do it. As an entrepreneur, I actually started 2 at the same time. Second goal. This was really important, this one. I wanted to test my own theory. Does this work? Or is it just something that's been made up? So I like singing and dancing, tap dancing this. So I want to be on Broadway. Yep. We moved office addresses. My office is 8 Broadway. No joke. Please be clear about what you want. My long-term goal was that when I made enough money, I wanted a Jaguar. The car, not the cat. I love cars. And I had a dream of having a Jaguar from being a very little girl. And somebody gave me a picture, and I put the picture on my wall, and the picture was on my wall in school, in my office. When we were married, it was on the lounge floor, on the lounge wall. It's always been with me. I won Asian Woman of Achievement, went down to London, middle of the plate, Jaguar keyring. That was my sign from God. Next day, went home, wrote to Jaguar. Dear Jaguar, I know this is cheeky, but if you don't ask, you don't get. Will you sponsor me? Cut a very long story short. Jonathan Browning, MD of Jaguar UK, called me and he says, Maddie, loved your letter. He said, but we don't just give cars away. All right, what had I lost? Nothing. The cost of a stamp and handwriting the letter, because that makes an impression. That's why he called me back. So he says, we know you work with Buckingham Palace and we know you work with number 10 Downing Street. He said, if you need to borrow a car, please let us know. We'll send a car and a driver. Way, car and a driver. So he says, somebody will call you from Jaguar to set it all up. So 3 weeks later, hi, this is Karen Strange from Jaguar VIP. Which car do you want? And for 2 years, I was sponsored by Jaguar with a Jaguar. I wrote the first one off in a couple of weeks. It wasn't my fault. And I had 2 more over the period of 2 years. I made it happen. When you've done it, you cross it out and you put your next goal. Aston Martin DB7. 189,000, so I'm not buying it. Somebody has to give it me. It will have to be Aston Martin because I won't allow my partner to buy it for me. And I hope they're going to pay for the insurance and the fuel. Okay, back to your work. So please be careful what you write. But please think carefully, because I absolutely guarantee you it will come true. You need to read it out every morning and every night. And this is the bit that the majority of you will not do because you will think it's strange. You will step out of your comfort zone. But if you don't tell the universe what it is that you want, the universe can't give it to you. And it's as simple as that. And I don't care whether you believe me, whether you think I'm mental or what, but all the successful people in the world will tell you they are doing the same thing. Whatever it is that they want, which is their overarching vision, is up here permanently. They can see it. When I close my eyes, I know exactly what I want. There is a counter going round in my head, because that's part of what my goal is. You have to know. You have to be focused. Read the book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's all about successful men, but it's worth reading because it's about exactly what I'm telling you. Somebody will do a book on women in the next years. Okay, so the question most people then say to me, okay, Maddie, come on, I've got no idea, how do I do it? I can't tell you the how to do it, but I can tell you the steps. So I'm going to give you 7 F's. And there's no PowerPoint presentation or anything because I can't do PowerPoint. I sell technology, but I can't do PowerPoint, right? So, but I also believe if you really want this, you're going to work for it. So you have to write down your words. You have to do the follow-up. The first F is fantasize. You literally need to go and lie on a beach or lie in the spa and close your eyes and let your mind go. When you were a little girl, when you were young, or somewhere in your life, something has told you you know what you want. Maybe one person in the room wants to be president of the European Union. Maybe. I don't know. I've sat in a room where there was one person who wanted to be president of a country. In fact, there's two women who want to be president of a country, and I'm mentoring them both now. One is a 26-year-old and the other one is a 34-year-old. I'm also mentoring a 17-year-old who wants to be the Secretary General of the UN. They know what they want. You have to fantasize. You have to let yourself go. And you have to say, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to make it sure it happens. The second one is feasibility. The second one is feasibility. In other words, is it possible? Everything is possible. Nothing is impossible. Nothing ever started anywhere without somebody thinking about it first, so fantasizing about it, and then making it feasible. The problem is the majority of us think, okay, if I'm going to start that business, I have to have that amount of funding in the first place. No, you don't. Stop that process thing. Just say it's feasible and I'm going to make it happen. And every morning and every night read it out, because that's how it happens. That's as simple as it gets. You just have to know it's possible. And there isn't anything, nothing that is not possible. Believe me, the technologies that I'm working on at the minute, the people that I'm working with, the brain power is unbelievable. Life-changing. Look at the disruptive technologies that we have at the minute. Everything is possible. So the third one is the foundation. That's exactly what also the girls were talking about today, the power partnerships. Who do you know? But it's not the who do you know, as in I know Charlene and Charlene knows the minister, the Dutch Minister for Foreign Affairs. No, it's not about that. It's about the old person at the end of the street who's retired, who didn't have mobile phones. How did they sort out? How would they have solved your problem? The young person who's probably 12, 11, 12, they know all about technology, much more than you know. How would they solve your problem? But you have a network of people around you which you are just not utilising. Look at all the brains in this room. The skills bank we have in this room. But we won't utilise it. We won't ask each other to help us. I'm not a fan of European projects at all. I hate European projects. I know I work for the European Union, or a division of the European Union. European projects have made us go against each other instead of working together. The 21st century is the era of co-working, collaboration, cooperation, communication, and collateral. And collateral is our human brains. And that's what your foundation is. You've got the internet, you've got Google, you've got libraries, but you've got each other. That's the most important thing. Oh, by the way, that was also part of the networking thing. Never sit next to anybody you already know. Because if you already know them, what's the point of sitting next to them? You're not going to learn anything new. You are just sitting inside your comfort zone. And the more you sit inside your comfort zone, the smaller your comfort zone gets. So step outside your comfort zone. Sit next to somebody you don't know. Introduce yourself to somebody. Oh, believe me, it works brilliantly for business. It's what I do every time. The fourth one is fit for purpose. It's not about being fit and healthy. You can see I don't do my yoga. It's about that oxygen mask. It's about breathing. It's about putting me time in the diary. You put time in the diary for your car, for the dentist, for your kids, for your partner, for your business clients. But when did you last put time in the diary for yourself? If you don't have thinking time to work on your strategies for your business, how are you going to expect your businesses to grow? How are you going to expect your idea on the top of your piece of paper to materialize? That needs thinking time. Me, book myself into a hotel. Tell my partner I'm going away somewhere on business and I book myself into a hotel. And that's it, downtime. Nothing, just sit and think about all the things I need to think about. It's amazing how you come out. Really is like spa treatment. Put your time in your diary. But the other thing is, you need to think 100% positive up here. All those of you who went, whatever Maddie's saying is not going to work, that's not going to work for you either. Because you're already negative. Me, I know it works. I know 26,000 people who said it's worked. I know it works. Stop doubting yourself. Because it's exactly as was said earlier. The only people who are blocking your success is you. The fifth one is failure. And with failure comes fear. You don't have a fear of failure. You don't, because you know you can do it. You actually have a fear of success. What happens if you get the order for 1 million pieces? What happens if 1 million people want your coaching services? What happens if? And you don't do it, so you don't even start. Stop the fear. Move on. It can happen. When it happens, the whole of WBII are here to help you. We'll come on the factory floor. Believe me, I know. I did it. I took the order for 10,000 naans. We were only making 10 at a time. I took the order for 10,000 naans. My mentors were in my factory making naans. 48 hours, the staff didn't stop. Their choice. I didn't force them to do it. Your sixth one is focus. Tomorrow I'm going to take you all to New York. You all did exactly the same thing at exactly the same time. You either did one of two things. You either saw the New York skyline or you saw the Statue of Liberty. Means you're focused. Now I need that same focus on your future. If you get in a car, it's not like you don't know where you're going. You can already see yourself at your destination. Nobody just gets in a car and goes, where shall I go today? First thing you do is you look in the mirror, a glance back. So stop blaming the past, because it's a split second that you look back. The rest of the time you're looking forward. If you continue to look back, you're going to have an accident. Focus on looking forward. Diversion along the way, you take it. Car breakdown, you solve it. That's exactly what business is. Keep focused. That genie will only give you one wish. And the seventh one is probably the most important one. It's your face. Your face gives it all away. If you do not behave how it is, or whatever it says on the top of your piece of paper, you will also not achieve it. My business card, probably the first brown one you have ever seen. But why is it brown? Because I believe in sustainability. My name is in gold, gold embossed, because I'm special. My brand is a registered trademark. If Versace and Gucci could do it, so could I, so I did. But my card will stand out in a packet of white cards, so you will remember me. Your brand is the DNA of your company. It's what represents you. Remember that. So, that's all you need to do. And then I'm going to give you one gift. And you can each pick your own gift. They're down there. It's what's called a commitment bead. You take this, and when you read out what's on the top of your piece of paper, you make a commitment to change your life or somebody else's life with what you've put on the top of your piece of paper. And you put this inside your purse. Every time you open your purse, you remember me. That's branding. Second, you remember your commitment to make the change and to do the thing that it is that you want to do. Every single one of these is different, just like you. There are not two the same, because on the top of my piece of paper is that I wish to turn 7 billion ideas into action. And I know I'm going to do it. And we're going to give 7 billion of these out. Each one is different because they're all handmade. If I can do my goal, you can do your goal, whatever it is. Gandhi said, you must be the change you want to see. Madi says, you must be the change you want to see. No excuses. Thank you.